games, their lack of experience, their lack of execution really cost them. They had some chances to put games away. You look at, a couple of games ago, it was tied up, ball out of bounds. You get a turnover, give the Boston Celtics a chance to score down 2.
Yeah. Didn't even get a shot.
Didn't get a shot. And then you also had opportunity to offensive rebound. Under 24 on the shot clock, you could have pulled the ball out and got fouled. And that's what you talked about. I don't know if he wanted to shoot the free throw or not, what the case may be, but that's a chance where time and score, you realize that you pull it out.
Yeah, not to pile on, those both 2 mistakes by Ben Simmons. He was the one inbound in the pass, threw it away. He was the one also with the offensive rebound.
And should have pulled it out, absolutely.
Yeah, but there was other lack of experience plays to where they didn't get loose balls. Maybe it was the effort. Obviously, you're trying to win games, and that's kind of the same thing we went through with New Orleans in the first couple games. They outplayed us, they out-hustled us, and obviously we're not trying to lose, but they got every 50-50 ball. They made every big shot. They made free throws down the stretch.
So just talk to me about the adjustment process within a series. You're saying all that happened to you. Was there no plan to adjust within the series, or is it just too hard at that point, and were the Sixers just unable to do it against Boston?
I'm sure they tried to adjust, but once you get down 2-0, once you get down 3-0, the numbers are against you, the odds are against you, and you're trying to get one game at a time, but it's hard. And when a team understands that no team has ever come back from 3-0, the pressure rises and the other team gets a little bit more comfortable.
Well, and when you play a series where it went 5 games, Game 1 was decisively won by Boston. Game 4 was decisively won by Philly. Game 2, 3, and 5 were 50-50 games. I think most of the game, actually, 75-25 Philly games.
Yeah.
And they lost all 3. Like, they were up 22 points in the mid-second quarter of Game 2, and they lost. They were up 4 with less than a minute left in overtime of Game 3, and they lost. They were up 4 with less than 90 seconds left last night, and they lost. If you go 0 for 3 on games that you have control of at the end, you can't win. Like, they could have won this series 4-1. With better late-game execution, this series could be over in their favor. That's jarring that it happened the way it did.
Yeah, from a coaching standpoint, too, you could see the Celtics made some tremendous adjustments. Even in last night's game, they decided, okay, we're going to start TJ. All right, Brad Stevens, you know what he told him? You know what? We're going to bang him. We're going to post him up. They ate him alive to start the game. What they start to do late in the game, you might have forgot what their game plan was. No, Boston went right back in the fourth quarter. They went right back to posting up whoever they thought was the weak link in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, they hit the 3-ball this year at pace. They ran and shot the 3. They weren't able to do this in this 5-game series.
We've been talking a lot about Ben Simmons. I know we're going to get back to it, but the other part of this that we thought, or at least I thought, where Philly was going to have a major advantage was Joel Embiid either against Baines or Horford, and he was totally neutralized. I thought he was outplayed by Horford. He got his points, but he was inefficient from a shooting perspective, and he averages more turnovers than any post-up big man that I can remember. He was turning the ball over 3 times a game. Like, you handle the ball all the time. 3 turnovers is the most you're comfortable with in a game, right? Maybe 4?
Yeah, you're trying to turn the ball over, but that's another thing. Him trying to score, trying to generate some offense for that team, understanding that they were facing elimination. He's essentially the one who coined the trust the process, so he felt like the pressure was going to be on him, and he had a chance to finish down in the paint late in that game and smoke the layup. But I thought that he played hard. I thought that Al Horford's experience, having played in the playoffs, being a jack-of-all-trades guy who can shoot the 3, he can initiate an offense, he can defend multiple positions. I think that showed, and people complained about him being an all-star. People complained about the amount of money he makes, but I think he's a guy most teams and players would want to play with.
CJ, one of the things we've been talking about all morning is what the final piece is for this Sixers team if they're going to take it to the next level next year. And it's maybe bringing in a big superstar, a Paul George, a LeBron James, whoever they could possibly get. Do you think that's what they're missing, is one big superstar for them to take it one step further in this process?
I don't even necessarily think they need a superstar. Obviously, that would help if they got another player, but I think internal development is going to be big. Guys have gotten better over the course of their career. Obviously, they were hurt at the beginning. Implementing J.J. Redick, a veteran guy who can shoot, who can do a lot of different things, helped them. Marco, who hit the big shot they thought was the walk-off game winner, he's helped them. immensely, but I think the biggest transformation is going to come from within. Embiid understanding that he's got to take care of the ball, make better decisions in the post when the double team comes. I think that's going to come as he gets more experience, and the mask could have played a factor in his vision. And then I think the development of Ben Simmons. You know, once he gets a jump shot, whether that's 15 feet, 12 feet, whatever the case may be, that changes how you guard them, and then the #1 pick, Markelle Fultz, get more comfortable in playing.
When you say once Ben Simmons gets a jump shot, I believe it's impossible that he comes back next year. No. Not impossible that he gets jump shot. That he comes back next year the same shooter. I think it's impossible that he doesn't come back next year as a markedly improved shooter. Now, that doesn't mean he needs a 3. Doesn't mean he has a 3. But a guy, he only took 2 shots out of the paint the entire series. Like, that's jarring. That is to Cece's point. How likely is it, in your eyes, as a player developing between year 1 and year 2 at 20 years old, that he comes back next year as a plausible shooter?
He's actually year 3 to 4 compared to year 1 to 2.
Well, you mean he's actually year 2 to 3? But,
yeah, 2 to 3. Yes.
Okay, well, after 1 year of playing at 20 years old.
I think it's just going to depend on, you know, how much he loves this game, how much time and effort he puts into it. He seems to be obsessed with the game in terms of, you know, watching Magic, breaking down film on LeBron and doing things of that nature. But even Magic had a nice set shot. He could knock down an open 3. He was able to hit mid-range and keep the defense honest. So for him to make that next step and for them to have that elite spacing that they pride themselves on in terms of, you know, being able to shoot 3s, you know, if he's able to shoot the ball, it changes how you guard their whole team.
Right. The other thing about Magic Johnson, I talked to my brother a lot about basketball. And he said that we're in an era now where we just grab Magic Johnson, Lonzo Ball. Oh, he's the next Magic Johnson. We think that everyone that has height and can dribble the ball somewhat, like they're the next point guard at 6'10". We had one time in NBA history. How long we been playing the game, Nick?
What, 93 years, something like that?
We had one point guard at 6'10". So now to think we're just going to find one on the side of the road, like Magic was always a point guard. Even at youth basketball, he was the biggest guy, but he was always a point guard. In high school, he was a point guard. In college, he was a point guard. At what point has Ben Simmons been a point guard? At none. He might have been a point forward at LSU. His basketball fundamentals weren't enhanced there. By that, stay there. And now I worry more about he doesn't have the mentality of a guard. All right, he's a bigger guy who handles the ball fairly well for a bigger guy, but the ability to make other players better, to set other players up, to get them the ball where they want to. I don't see that skill, so there's other things that I am worried about besides his shooting.
Good stuff. CJ, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate having you here.
Great seeing you, man.
Always a good time.
Seeing you too.